it real bad.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see these two players shape up against each other. As you know, as an American, I don't get to see it quite enough. We're kicking things off on Overgrowth, as you can see. Our first player in the Northeast is the Red Terran Happy, and he's facing off against the Blue Protoss in the Southwest, XMG's Lilbow.
So yeah, we talked about styles before this game commenced, and they're both very kind of standard players. They're like ladder players. They really spawned through the ladder. Happy was like a very famous Warcraft 3 player before this. I don't know if you knew that.
I was not aware.
He played for a team, or he played for multiple teams, but among them were Mouse Sports. I don't think he was part of Gravitas, but he was a part of EG at one point in time too, along with Grubby. So yeah, Happy, definitely one of the best undead players on the planet in Warcraft 3, and he was quite famous for finishing 4th in pretty much every important tournament. And in Warcraft 3, the prize money was top 3. So very unfortunate for Happy, but yeah, even in Warcraft 3, he was known as one of the players on the planet with the absolute best micro in the world. So always has been a scary player.
Yeah, that's really cool. These guys have been around for quite a long time, and Lilbow, I think, from what I've heard, he's on the younger end of the spectrum. He's
19.
StarCraft is the first like big game he's being thrown in, from what I've heard.
Yeah, I believe so. Like, I haven't really heard of Lilbow until he came onto the scene, and even when I played in America, I remember coming back over and I started playing against this guy called Lilbow, and I was like, man, who is this guy? Like, he's in this clan with Todd and stuff and Socky, but this guy seems really sick good. But yeah, the first time I met Lilbow, so a double gas opening for Lilbow here. That's already a bit unusual. But yeah, oh boy, an engineering bay blocked by Happy. So
I was gonna say Happy's build didn't look too crazy, right? He opened up Reaper, which is pretty standard, and it's not quite as greedy as some of the strategies we were talking about earlier that Happy might go for. But this engineering bay, completely unseen, that's gonna really make things weird for Lilbow, like when he decides to try to expand or anything like that.
One of the groovy things for Lilbow is he's actually gone for second gas rather than going ship core out, his stalker out. He's going for 5 gases here. So what does 5 gas really indicate? To me, it indicates that he wants to get a Nexus and a Twilight Council pretty soon. Oh, now it's 3 on each gas. So some Sase kind of play there. If you remember Sase, he was very intricate with when he put down his...
Yeah, we saw, he played in a couple of North American tournaments and was able to see that. So the Reaper comes in. Now he's about to find out that this engineering bay is blocking his natural expansion. He has the choice. Do I send out my Stalker or not? Now, this Stalker can go across the map because the one that's coming out back home should be able to defend a Reaper pressure. But just the Mothership Core alone moving across the map doesn't really have too much threatening presence since there's a bunker being built on the high ground. Like, Happy's not taking his chances because he knows Lilbow is only on 1 base.
Happy's actually doing very well here. So he's anticipating the follow-up. Lilbow does not want to get that Stargate scouted, so his second Stalker is out to deflect that Reaper. But Happy not taking any chances at all. So he's made a bunker, he's made a CC on the high ground, he's going for a second barracks as well. So Happy, he's going to thwart this pressure very easily. And to kill a Mothership Core, you need 3 Marines. But when you have a bunker on the high ground, he's very safe. And now this Reaper has actually got into the space and he's dealing damage. And he has scouted the Stargate as well. So everything going great for Happy so far.
Yeah, really solid start to this game. And Lilbow adding on that second gateway like this, these are the kinds of things that can slowly, you know, push the Protoss to eventually just say, screw it, man, and just go for a big warp-in play or try to kill your opponent. Now, that bunker got salvaged, which is a little bit surprising since he's not quite ready to take that natural, and the Oracle will contain him a bit more.
That was a bit of a surprising move.
He doesn't have another engineering base, so like he cannot build a missile turret.
With that bunker at the front, even if you put 1 Marine in it and 7 in your mineral line, for example, like you're going to be fine. But looks like he wants to advance down the down to take his natural. Oh, is that probe going to die here to this single Reaper?
Oh, okay, so he can delay when the Nexus gets placed a little bit more. And,
that was nice by Lilbow, though. He anticipated that happening. Already had a probe moving down to take that spot, but an Oracle is out on the map now, so damage can be done. And to be honest, like, are there Marines in the mineral line for Happy in his main mineral line?
Nope.
No. Did he just miss what it was?
No,
I don't think he saw it.
Yeah, this is really bad. Like, he's moving out onto the map. And this gateway force, just with the Oracle on its own, he might just be able to just kill him. Oracle runs up. Okay, that gets focused down. Very important that he kills that off. Actually gets the mothership core as well, and
what is happening?
That went a lot better for Happy than I thought it would.
I mean, you know, you run into your opponent's army with an Oracle, like, sure, that Oracle can deal with, like, let's say 5 Marines.
And that's going to set off all the alarms for Happy, too. He's like, okay, now I'll just put my Marines in my mineral line, and I'm totally, you know, everything's groovy.
Yeah, and let's see his natural mineral line, like, what's sat there? I mean,
yeah, it can still do some work.
But the Oracle is heading over to the main base, so very, very fortunate for Happy, and nice positioning by him. He's delaying his factory, which is totally fine. He's dealt a lot of damage at this point in time. By that, I mean he killed a mothership core, he killed an Oracle.
Yeah, a lot of gas-heavy units.
A lot of gas-heavy units, Nathanius. And yeah, this Oracle, like, yeah, he killed a few Marines, but I mean, he wanted a far better trade from all of that happening.
And this natural finishes so late. He already had the one assimilator pre-built because he's like, I know I need this gas, and I know that this Nexus is finishing much later than it normally would.
What a weird opening by Lilbow.
Yeah, this game started off pretty awkwardly. Oracle's going to swoop in again. He gets a couple Marines for his trouble. Not too bad. Everything that he can get here is just going to slowly equalize the game because as a Terran player, being ahead in workers is very nice versus a Protoss.
That was very cute by Happy, by the way, how he halted production on that depot just to save it. And I mean, he did that in advance, so we kind of knew that this Oracle could dance around and snipe a few probes and such. So yeah, he did that in advance there. This Observer did see this little army marching towards Lilbow's base, so Lilbow activates that. Whoa, Happy's going in for this.
Yeah, he's just going to dive right on top of this. That mothership core doesn't really have much energy left, so, you know, at the very least, he can try to burn this out.
That Oracle.
But I was, you know, just saying, like, he maybe opens the door for a later attack where there isn't enough energy to photon overcharge both bases, or he can only choose one.
I mean, yeah, like, you're totally right that. And even upon like taking a third base eventually for Lilbow, will he have the energy required? Will he have 2 time warps if he does an all-in? Like, it's kind of nice to burn that mothership core energy, because I'm not sure what he actually thought he could do besides burn the energy. But you know, so far so good for Happy. There is a Colossi out now, so he can't like further on the pressure. I think he kind of expects that, because going for anything else besides a Colossi follow-up as a Stargate opening, it's very, very risky. Like, he went through Blink Stalkers, they're just too late to really do anything apart from play defensive, which then you get your Colossi. You have to get Colossi out with that army anyhow, and they're just too late by that point. So Lilbow's going about this in the right way, getting the Colossi, then the Blink. But Happy.
Everything Happy's doing is just like standard stuff that just looks good. Third command center coming in. He's adding on his 4th and 5th barracks, and I mean another starport as well starts up. The only things that are like when you look at this game, and he's still behind on probes too, is the forges coming up are going to be like he's really need to focus on the upgrades. So I feel like taking a third base with the way that Happy's setting himself up is going to become increasingly difficult over the next few minutes.
Like those double forges, they're kicking in now. Happy's already got +1. He's getting lots of barracks down too, and a 2nd starport. Happy's just ready for that mid-stage of the game. He's got multiple barracks down, 2 starports ready with reactors ready on them. So Viking production's going to commence very, very hardcore very, very soon. 3rd base ready to turn into an orbital. Like, he's doing totally fine. The supplies look very even, but soon those 3 mules are going to kick in. And the fact that he doesn't have to spend money on upgrades right now, he's going to have a very, very big army very soon that I don't think Lilbow's going to be able to deal with.
Yeah, Lilbow's just firing up a couple more gateways. 4th Colossus is on the way. Quite a few. I mean, like, the way that his tech is set up isn't necessarily bad. It's just now Happy has Marines on the 3rd base. He has the tower, so he could see the potential left base. He's already got enough SCVs that is natural to just, you can just box half of them, move them over, and he's already got that 3-base saturation. The only like playmaker that Lilbow has is this Oracle, but it's not really going to do too much with you know, the increasing production, especially, and the production of Vikings.
How many medevacs do we have on the left side of the map in Happy's little army? I mean, okay, so we have 3 medevacs. So, I mean, that's enough to load up that army and just drop into the main base if there is going to be an all-in heading to his side of the map. So we can constantly delay. But we do see that a 3rd Nexus is on the way now for Lilbow. And, I mean, it is rather late. Happy's already 30 supply ahead, and that Nexus has only just started. So I can't imagine anything other than an SUV pull all-in is on Happy's mind upon scouting this 3rd base.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's tricky because he doesn't have all of his forces there, so being able to see that is nice. Charge starts up, and I'm sure we'll see +2 upgrades, and like +2 upgrades are where you start to be able to dance a little bit more with the heavy Zealot production as a Protoss versus Terran. But Oh, that's that just feels so far away. And like you said, I think this is one of those moments where Happy might be able to say to himself, I'm going to max out much faster than my opponent. Just grab all the SCVs and go for it, man.
And it would be the right move. I mean, now he's climbing up to like 180 supply against 136. It's 1-1 against 1-1 upgrades. The Nexus is only just finished, so the economy hasn't kicked in quite from that yet. And we do start to see a lot of red move from half side of the map. So, and how many Vikings? 4 Vikings at a time, and he's already got how many out? I think he's already got like a good 11 out so far. So those 5 Colossi, in fact, 5 Colossi is a good amount of Colossi. You need a good 15 Vikings to really contest that and stay alive.
Yeah, he's going to be relying also on the Marauders. There's very few Zealots to actually tank for this army, so the SCVs will be able to soak up the Colossi shots, and that could allow him to do this. But he'll have a couple units to this third base. Some of his, not all of his forces are actually fighting this together. So kill the natural first. It is actually quite important that he finishes the Nexus off in case it gets overcharged and baits out damage. I love how he left the SCVs up top though, just so they could be there ready to soak up that fire.
Yeah, these blinks, they're nice by Lilbow. He's trying to pick off what he can. He's just trying to delay the fight as much as possible. But nice time warp there, slowing down the army, but the Colossi are already under fire now.
Yep, most of the army is actually attacking the Nexus, but there's just so much little gateway units to stave this off that once the Nexus falls, the Bio army just collapses on top of everything. And Colossus comes in from the left side completely exposed, and the Vikings are ready to land with nothing to shoot. And it's just Stalkers versus Bio. I mean, any Protoss will tell you this is not a winnable fight.
It's not a winnable fight at all. And I mean, 39 SCVs have been lost, but we look at the harvest count in the bottom.
He's actually still pretty close. I mean, he's economically even with Triple Mule.
I mean, economically ahead. He just took out the 3 Nexi as well. And
yeah, that too.
like this army by Happy, it's still a solid army, and no AoE to deal with it. I mean, if there are Colossi on the way, they're just going to get popped by those Vikings anyway. No, they're on, and Bio wins outright against Stalkers.
Yeah, he's completely broke. Happy just going to march up this main ramp. Not really anything left that Lilbow can do. He's just hanging in there for a little bit longer, maybe thinking about what he'll do the next game. But yeah, these Stalkers are going to move up the ramp. They can't fight this army. They can't beat it. He's going to eat up a little bit of the reinforcements. Good game for Happy so far. The openings could have gone so much worse for him.
Yeah, it was a really, really solid opening by him, and Lilbow really relied on dealing damage with his opening. I mean, the fact that his Nexus was not only delayed by the engineering bay, but delayed by his build in general, because he went for that very fast Stargate. And I mean, Lilbow's got some nice Blink Micro here, but he must know it's all in vain, really. He's just trying to stay in, or he thinks his opponents used more SCVs in that pool than he had. But
he didn't pull every single SCV he had, and that's why he's got such sick production right now.
Yeah, so nice first game by Happy. Lilbow's soon going to realize, like, hey, I can't really win this, I don't think, from this point on, because I've got 19 supply, and, you know, I'm very, very close to being mined out here, too. And my opponent's got 3 orbitals running, like...
I have as many probes as he has orbital commands. It's not a fun place to be as a Protoss.
No, not at all. So Lilbow...
Oh, did he never see the third? No, surely he knew about the third base. Like, I'm trying to think about reasons why he wouldn't, like, tap out yet, but... I guess if you thought the Terran was on 2 bases, then maybe.
I mean, even then, but 121 supply against 20, I mean...
Yeah, that too.
The fact that Lilbow doesn't really know about the third base, then GG is called. Like, Happy is one of the few Terrans, though, that does like to do that all-in off 2 bases. Never mind 3.
Okay.
Like, I've seen him do it quite a bit on stream, and he's done it in tournaments. I know, like, he beat Grubby recently in something where he just kind of did that build with 2 bases. So, you know, Lilbow, like, didn't scout the third. Did he have... Yeah. He had observers kind of on the map, but, like, defensive position, so...
Yeah, I mean, the Oracle was buying him a lot of vision in that, like, that stage where he was just kind of darting around looking for SCVs to pick off here and there, but, really, like, I just keep thinking about the very first trade that they made when the Mothership Core came up with the...
Basil.
Yeah. So we're loaded into merry-go-round for map number 2. Happy is 1-0 in the top right against XMG's Lilbow.
Yeah, and Lilbow spamming a lot at the start. High APM there.
Happy's got some sick APM spam going on. I think he's using that...
Oh, it is Happy spamming, yeah.
Yeah, he's probably using that, like, the rapid-fire, like, mining thing, just so that his SCVs all stay on one patch without moving around.
I've actually watched Happy play in person. And he's one of these guys at the start of the game. He's using, like, all of his fingers on the keyboard. Like, and I mean everyone, not just, like, 1-2 spam, 1-2 spam. It's like like the third finger, middle finger, your like pointy finger, and the like little finger. He's just spamming, just getting warmed up, and he uses a very old keyboard too.
Really?
Yeah, it's not a mechanical one. And I remember like asking him. I was with Todd, and Todd, in fact, it was Todd that asked. He's like, "Why don't you use a new keyboard?" Like, because he thought he'd be better with it. Like Todd was asking in that respect, and Happy just responded like, "There's no like keys that are as low as this." He didn't use a flat key keyboard, but the keys weren't as high as on a mechanical keyboard. He liked something that was just in between. But
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, Happy, creature of habit. He's been using the same setup for a long time, and he's comfortable with it. And if he doesn't misclick and he micros as good as he does, then why not?
Yeah, can't fault him for that. Got to do what works. He's then a very, very good Terran player throughout pretty much all StarCraft 2. This game, we are going to see what looks to be another Reaper opening from Happy. Nothing too mischievous going on in this game. Lilbow, nothing really crazy from him either. So one gas is the difference between this and his build last game, though.
Do you think Happy's going to go for an engineering block again? I think he might.
With just one gas, yeah, I think it's not a bad play.
I think it's the right move.
Like,
here.
I'm really 50-50 on this myself. Like, I don't always engineering bay block, but it's like sometimes it feels like it's a really good play if they only have one gas.
I actually don't do it enough. I skip out the SV Scout a lot, actually. But you know, in a situation like this where you can, is he going to put up his CC? Very soon, I guess. So he's going to try and block for as long as possible. And if he sees a Zealot come down here, which, a second probe, now he can't put the engineering bay down. Yeah,
that's not going to work. So at the very least, he's still, you know, been a nuisance. That Zealot actually did finish. The Mothership Core is on the way out now, too. Ooh. No Stalker, though.
Do you know what's...
And the Reaper will run right into the Zealot, it looks like.
The Reaper will run, yeah, and I'm glad that he brings that Zealot back home, because if you're caught out in the open, that Zealot can take a lot of damage from this single Reaper, and having a Zealot on the map is kind of annoying. Like, upon having his probe at the expo, he was really banking on that guy making an engineering bay, and then having the Zealot out to just cancel that very early on, because what purpose does the Zealot serve at this point in time? Well, not at all, actually. I guess it's kind of like there to take a few shots from the Reaper, but what can he achieve? He can't really scare off the Reaper on his own, so you have to have the Mothership Core back at home anyway, and you have to wait for that Stalker. So, you know, that's already for Happy, kind of like, okay, I normally make an engineering bay. This guy's going to bank on me making an engineering bay. He made a Zealot. Bam, that Nexus is a bit later. And it's also a useless unit for this period of time, so a little win for me.
Yeah, it's quite nice. Like, the most that you just, at this point, you're just looking to get information and build upon anything that you can. Twilight Council, though, for Lilbow. You've played him on the ladder, I assume, Ben. Is this does he like blink? Is this like is he gonna go mega blink or just like defensive blink?
Whenever I play Lilbow and he goes blink, I know to take Lilbow's blink very, very seriously, because he likes to all in with it.
Ah, like he's one of those.
Yeah, you can play a game like, I don't really want to give away strategies too much, but you know, every Protoss has the ability to play macro blink or aggressive blink, but Lilbow, more often than not, he likes to go for the killing blow, and we saw that in a series against Daishi. So if they reveal things in this tournament, I'll let you know about it. But within regards to practice, I like to keep that a little bit private. But yeah, Lilbow is definitely a guy that if he knows that there's blood in the water, he is a shark. He will not give you the time of day to recuperate, and he will kill you. And the amount of times that these guys have played each other in Ladder 2, like, there's going to be things that we don't know that are happening in this game going on between these two guys. So a third gas being made, second and third gateway. Happy still doesn't know what tech he's against, so...
Yeah, well, he's taken one of his gases in his natural, and, you know, I guess, like, it's weird to say this, but, like, normally you want to obviously take all your gas so you can tech up really quickly. Now he starts the next one as the third one finishes, so... This doesn't have to be like a big all-in at all. I'm not getting that feeling.
No, I'm not getting that feeling either. Like with 4 gases in production, I'd imagine that we'd see something like a third Nexus, and then switching into fast Colossi with a lot of gateways with this kind of style.
No upgrade style?
No upgrade style. And I mean, this is one of the maps that we've seen Zest, like it is, I believe it is Zest build. This is a map where I've seen it executed most on. And with that Blink Stalker, he'll be able to threaten Happy quite a bit and make him play rather cautiously. Happy's done a lot of things that not confuse me necessarily, but the fact that he didn't build up missile turrets and he hasn't scouted anything in the main, like that's rather ballsy. And now he's seen 5 Stalkers on the map.
He's kind of assuming his opponent is playing like a standard predictable way.
Yeah, now he's seen 5 Stalkers on the map. he has to assume, like, oh, this guy's probably gone Blink here. Like, and we'll see Blink finish very soon, so this Reaper will be dead. And then, so Happy's playing as nicely as he can with this Reaper, just kind of like goading his opponent. And now, third Nexus on the way for Lilbow. So, you know, I talked about, hey, what kind of player is Lilbow? He's the kind of guy that sees blood in the water and he'll go for it. And Happy's had to play so careful with that Reaper just to kind of like say to himself, oh, this guy, he's got Blink now. And he did get to see it, and now he's getting this Reaper into the Expo. Oh, this is big. So he's seen the Sentry follow-up. So now he knows he's not getting all end. That is important.
You know, the way that he went in, he actually did not see the his Stalkers were being a bit adventurous, but he also didn't see where the third base got taken either. And it's not what I would say is it doesn't feel like the usual place you want to take a third base versus a Terran, especially with these spawns.
No, and I think that's why he did it. So I mean, if the Terran does get to your third base, regardless of where it is, it's probably game over at that point anyway. So what are the strengths of Lilbow's build? Well, he's going to have a lot of units out very, very soon. The weaknesses, though, he's going to have no upgrades. There's going to be a period of time when there's like 4 medevacs on the field, and that army gets very strong, that bio army. But right now, is Happy's army a scary army? You'd say yes against just Blink Stalkers at this point in time. But actually, this is the kind of time where Lilbow wants to take a fight. That Guardian Shield means so much. And if you can snipe down a couple of medevacs, and if you pick off those Marauders as well, bam, Happy's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and, you know, important things that we kind of talked about earlier, man, the lack of the upgrades. He's just going for all the tech plays, charge, thermal lance, getting those Colossi out. And I'm very interested to know whether or not he even takes the gases on his third base, because he could just use that third as a funnel to power out tons of Zealots and just try to smack him down when Colossus range is done. Like,
so we look at the harvest count. He's actually saturated that up a hell of a lot already. So Lilbow, he's really banked on this not getting like attacked at all, but even if it gets attacked at this point in time, he's got a photon overcharge ready. He's got some decently positioned like pylons and observers on the map, so he kind of knows where the army is, hence why he's positioned so promptly on that third base. And look, he's even brought his anti-drop hit squad over here with a lot of Stalkers, and Happy, upon seeing that, he's kind of like, oh, bugger. It's kind of
good observer placement, by the way, being able to see where these medevacs are going. As soon as he gets catches whiff, he's like, oh, he's coming to my main. Well, let me just bring my Stalkerinos back up here, and this is going to shut down any possible drop play that Happy could do.
I wouldn't be surprised if Lilbow doesn't sit on the edge with those Stalkers and he waits for those medevacs to commit, then really busts them out. But here,
it's good.
So he sees one Stalker and backs off, so Happy.
Yeah, that's a death trap right there, man.
Nice reaction time by Happy, though, to do that. Yeah, that's a photon overcharge for one Marine.
I think maybe he was scared there were going to be a lot more behind him.
I guess so. I think he was just kind of like, oh, and there is a little squad ready to attack in over there. But if we look at the supplies, they're still relatively close. Happy's now got his third base rolling. He's getting +1 upgrades too, and this army is met by a couple of Colossi, so can't really do anything there. But
now the drop does hit the main base, these Stalkers, of course. So like the thing is, like
that's
this
a lot of Stalkers.
Yeah, this Bioforce can still kill the Stalkers really, really fast. He just needs to make sure that he kills quite a few of the Stalkers before he has to leave, because once these Colossus show up, I think those Stalkers are just going to blink and kill the medevacs. But he's actually killing quite a few of these units.
That was a big, and it was a messy blink by Lilbow there. Like, he blinked every one of his units, not just like one Stalker at a time. He blinked everyone, and then taking up a upright engagement against your opponent, you're going to lose.
That also allowed Happy to evacuate. I think that was a really, really important drop for him. Keep in mind, Lilbow is still not taking the gas on that third base, so I'm kind of wondering what he's waiting for. Okay, well, I guess now he's going. Now he's going, and Happy's going to have a hell of a time defending against this push.
Yeah, this is not an easy push to defend, and I mean, Happy's got some units on the left side which are kind of ready to deal like counter drops and stuff.
He needs to go back in and force this army home, or get them the hell home himself, and they're not going to make it home in time.
What does Lilbow have in his main base? Because he's just going for this.
Yeah, this is a very, very smart play. Happy's just basically forcing him. Now Lilbow has less time to make a decision. He's lost pretty much all the probes in his main, and he'll probably lose his main Nexus. Happy's getting all of his SCVs ready. All he needs to do is defend this push, and he's got it. Zealots are going to charge up the ramp. Keep in mind, these units have that +1 upgrades just for Happy, but time warp on this Guardian Shield and the Colossi. Actually, it felt like there were more Colossi than this. He's actually going to be able to hold this off, it seems.
Happy's holding this very well, and if we look at the main base of Lilbow, is he sniping those? Oh, there is a little squad here that will clean it up for Lilbow. Oh, gets that too. Colossi running forward into those Marines, though. It's falling very low. How did this trade go? well, Happy's certainly ahead, and he's getting better upgrades. And also, if we look at the production tab, he was whipping out like 4 Marauders at a time. And Marauders with +1 upgrades, they're so good against unupgraded Protoss units. So now...
Yeah, they wreck everything. Not having armor upgrades on those Zealots really allows the Marauders to do a lot more than they otherwise would, that's for sure.
That was an insane counter drop by Happy, by the way. Like, very ballsy. He knew an army was marching at him, but...
It really felt like Lilbow's army was more powerful than it ended up being. Like, I kind of thought it would end up almost getting to, like, base trade level, but the units he sent back, I guess, was kind of what did it.
It was just a very weird engagement for Lilbow to take, I feel.
Yeah,
like,
moving up the ramp.
Like a few engagements have been weird. Like, that, the fact that he held off that harass so badly, the initial drop, where... And another drop again for Happy, and you know, you pick off this Nexus, you pick off those pylons that are powering all those gateways, and immediately, then look, he's focusing these pylons now.
Yeah, Cybernetic score is going to get picked off, so no more Stalkers, no more Sentries, and Lilbow's like, all right, round 2, baby, let's do it.
And I can't see this ending too well for Lilbow.
Mass unupgraded gateway units with all 3 Colossi there. Like, just a couple Colossi with this army. 2 of them are actually out here
chilling.
With no health. No health, by the way. So I guess he'll kill the 3rd base, which is nice.
That is nice, and I mean, this army actually gets to get away too, so he's used those...
He's brought all his workers out too, he's like, I will kill you.
So he used his fast, speedy units there to get away, such as the Charge Lots, the Stalkers
Yeah, he didn't actually bring the Colossi with him.
But if we look back at home, the Natural, like, he's taking damage constantly, and he just gets to clean up that army. In fact, this is kind of a nice trade by Lilbow.
Yeah.
Because, like, all of
I
this
think
time...
I think Happy's, like, only move now is to just send absolutely everything. These Vikings pick off 1 Colossus and retreat, but they take a lot of unnecessary hits from the Stalkers, and...
Those Stalkers, they are very, very flimsy.
Yeah, the thing is, once he gets the actual head-on engagement, like, these Zealots just die super quickly because there's no upgrades on this army. The next Warping comes in, he's trying to use his economy, his ability to replenish forces to do it in, but man, Zealots dying that fast. This doesn't happen terribly often, and now all he can really do is just Warping Gateway units to try to defend because all his tech and his main got killed.
Happy's mowing down his opponent right
here.
Did
he even rebuild his cybernetic score?
I don't believe he did. So
all he can warp in are Zealots. That's it. That's all he can do.
I mean, would you really want Stalkers at this point in time? I mean, he's already got quite a number. But yeah, GG. Well played by Happy. Like,
he's up 2-0 now. Not bad at all from our Eastern European Terran player.
Our Eastern European, our Russian Terran player.
Yeah, man.
Like, one of the only Russian players, or at least Russian Terrans left. Like, back in the olden days, we had, like, do you remember Bratok?
Bratok, yeah, he was the first guy that inspired me to go Mass Raven, man.
Really?
I remember a game he played on, I think it was Shattered Temple, and I think he, like, just...
He hasn't looked shabby at all, and Lilbow's thrown a couple of things at him, but Lilbow, like, he hasn't looked quite as solid as I expected him to, and Lilbow is a guy that, you know, he can kind of buckle under pressure a little bit. Like, I remember I actually had to play him, and I'm going to bring up my own experiences again, but I had to play him in WCS, and a lot of people were like, oh man, the Muslim's going to get smashed. Because he was better than me for sure, and like, he was an absolute monster, and he is a monster. But sometimes in these best-of-5 situations, he just crumbles, and even back then, I remember whipping out a few crazy things against him, and he fell like 0-3. So, Lilbow being a little unfortunate here, and it's just like a few engagements that he just takes badly.
It's a couple of tiny things. Like, he had that massive number of Stalkers in his main ready to defend, and then the triple medevac drop just gets in, and he kills like 6 or 7 Stalkers. He gets a massive return on his investment for the drop, and still escaped with his forces to come back later. And that big drop that Happy had set himself up to also like force the fight faster than Lilbow probably wanted in his natural. The first massive fight, and at that point, everything just kind of rolled smoothly together for Happy. Now, I'm very interested to see where he wants to take this. Mostly Lilbow, because I just kind of expect Happy to just play normal again. Like, he's gone Barracks Gas, probably going to be Reaper expand. I would be a little bit more surprised if Happy decided to switch it up and go for a factory play, but I wouldn't be upset by it.
The only thing I'm a little bit surprised about is like Happy. Given that Happy is such a solid player, I'd really love to know why he doesn't play CC first more.
Yeah, this is like this is the map to do it, right?
I think any map's a good map to do it on personally, but
you're a brave man, to Muslim.
I do it, and even if I get proxy gated, I think it's okay. Like, you have more SCVs than normal, and eventually you're going to whip out 2 Marines at a time, never mind just 1.
Oh, that's the part. When you mentioned the proxy gate after the CC first, that's the part where I rage, man. That's tough stuff. But you're right. Like, Happy going for the middle of the road builds kind of shows, like, almost a maturing, I feel, though, of like his playstyle, because he recognizes that people were abusing him pretty badly before. So now he's like in that position where it's like, okay, I can kind of dance a little bit more with these strategies. Stargate on the way, by the way. Happy moves up. Okay, I think you see this pylon. What a great scout. Because normally you'd be like, oh, there's no nexus, but the SCV going up the ramp, being able to see that pylon, that's huge.
That scout is insane. Like,
he just knows.
That is so important for this game for Happy. I mean, that Stargate, with that Stargate being so early, you rely on dealing damage to your opponent. And upon scouting it, that makes it so much easier to know what you're against. You have either missile turrets or your mineral lines, or you have marines in your mineral lines. You can defend with like just one bunker at the front end.
Oh, wow. And even this Reaper, man, he's like, oh, you cut to get that Stargate out, didn't you?
And bam, damage is done.
Two kills. I mean, honestly, like, if you open Reaper, it's all about getting scouting information, really. If you can kill a probe, you feel like you're on top of the world. But getting 2 probes is a really nice way to start this game. Especially since I love that he has the one SCV still following the probe, because he can always send his Reaper up to get it later on. But it will also let him know if a proxy pylon gets laid down later too. This is quite nice. Engineering bay is just about to finish up. He has a bunker completing at the front, and I think he has just about enough Marines, who soon have enough Marines to defend.
Yeah, like what you said about the Reaper, that is totally true. Like, you don't get that Reaper to deal damage. Like, if you can deal damage, then cool beans. But his primary purpose is to scout. And he did that and more. And the SCV initially got to scout the Stargate. And now Happy...
Yeah, he's totally safe because of it.
He's got turrets in his mineral lines. Can this Oracle actually deal damage? Like, and look, if this gets up too.
Oh,
I mean,
wow, come on. It's just, you're just waiting to take like the wrapping paper off of that one.
It's
pretty much done.
It's
just sitting in the oven. The oven's not even on.
You know, I class that as like a win for morale.
Yeah.
You know, like this
Oracle. Like, there's really not much else that I can do here, but screw you, man.
Oh, like, I mean...
Well, that's okay.
A second Oracle?
Now he's basically saying you can't have a natural, but he can still build an SCV right next to the turret, so it doesn't matter.
He's not in a bad situation. I mean, Lilbow's kind of making these Oracles do stuff, but
He's a bold boy.
In fact, the fact that he's picking off like 3 SCVs and 3
he is actually getting something for his investment. Yeah, to your point, which is quite nice.
This is frustrating because if you are happy in the situation, you're kind of
like, man, I scouted, I did everything right, and then this guy, like, he found a way in.
What he did wrong though was he had some SCVs in the wrong positions, and you know, realistically, like he got the turret up in his main. Oh, and is he going to get another couple of kills here? Bam! Like, damage is being done, Nathanius. So, you know, we kind of credited Happy so much on the scouting and stuff, but we have to credit Lilbow on the fact that he's managed to deal damage with this opening too, and now he's going to be chrono-boasting probes like a madman, trying to catch up in that economy game, and his opening, despite getting totally scouted, damage has been done.
Yeah. Nice start, it turns out, for Lilbow.
Phoenix?
Oh, boy.
Are we going to see some...
I find this style so frustrating to play against.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Like, this is the kind of style that if you get behind, you're dead. Yeah. I feel that, you know, in this situation, Happy isn't really behind. Oh, and the fact that he's putting up a third, I like that. I like that a lot, actually. Like, what I tend to do against this style is hit a timing without Vikings and ignore the Phoenix entirely, and I drop all over the Colossi.
You drop on the Colossi?
Yeah.
Against Phoenix?
I even get armor upgrades on my medevacs.
You're crazy. You're a crazy man.
For each armor upgrade, like you already start off with 1 armor, so those Phoenix are dealing, let's say, 8 damage per hit. Then it's 6. And people tend to skip upgrades entirely, even on your ground. So your ground ends up with like 2 1 upgrades against 0-0, and your air ends up with like 2 armor upgrade, or like 1 armor upgrade at that point in time, I suppose. But yeah, you can get way more supply. And look, I like that he didn't fly in a weird pattern there. He just kind of got the easiest way out, and yeah, a couple of SCV's dead again. Now we have a 12-worker lead.
Yeah, a 3rd base starting up for Lilbow too. This is really, really nice position to be in. Like, at this point, it's all going to come down to Happy grinding this one out a little bit more. There's not going to be many opportunities for him to take this game anytime soon. So it's nice SCV manages to get out there and see that, but still he has a lot of pressure that can still come his way.
Do you know what I also like about this game? I like the fact that they've both gone for that fast third base, because for both of them it makes sense because they are cross positions, and like they both have the ability to deal damage at this point in time cross map. But oh, is he actually going?
He's reaching for it.
He's trying, but not going to get it. But also, I like the fact that he went Phoenix on this map, because what have we talked about in the past on this map, Nathanius, is how vulnerable that natural is. And what do Phoenix do? They shut that down. Because once you're committed, and let's say you lose 2 dropships, or let's say you drop 2 armies and the probes get pulled and it's photon overcharge and then a Colossus comes up, but you kill the medevacs with your Phoenix, you can pretty much say like, oh, darn, I have to play it like from the defender's position constantly from now on, and it's not comfortable at all.
Yeah, Happy's getting ready to defend his 3rd base, but the observer does see the double drop, and oh no.
Does he actually know that he's against Phoenix right now? I don't believe he does.
Oh no.
No, this could be a really ugly. Losing this like shuts down all his abilities to be aggressive. Yep, he drops. Base is overcharged, and he's gonna, I mean, this force will die. It all depends how much he can get beyond that, and it doesn't look like a whole lot. Actually focuses down at a Phoenix or 2.
Like, I mean, he gets a Phoenix. Let's bring up the resources lost tab after that little engagement.
That's terrible.
Bam.
Oh.
Like, bam.
That's
bam.
like my games versus this style, man. I get wrecked.
And now we have Lilbow, who, yes, his strategy's been revealed.
But he's like the happiest guy alive now.
You're on 3 base against a 3 base Terran, and you've seen that his 3rd base isn't.
12 minutes. This is the part where this is like that stage of the game where Terran is really supposed to be strong right before Protoss has both Storm and Colossi.
And on that left side of the map, we saw that SCVs again have been killed. So how many SCVs have actually died this game? Like, so 10 workers, despite this opening getting scouted. And
yeah,
yes, he invested 2 oracles, but you know, you shut down everything. You've got now 3 bases faster than your opponent. Like, and look again, dealing damage. Where is that missile turret?
Yeah, this is just unnecessary amounts of heat that Happy's been taking. This Oracle just allowed to go absolutely ham. It should finally die now. Like, I'm scared to.
6 gateways on the way.
Okay. He has no gas on the 3rd again, by the way. So it's gonna be massive, massive numbers of charged zealots. I will say I feel like his charge started a little bit late, but outside of that,
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a 2nd Stargate start pretty soon. Oh, is he just going to switch into?
Whoa, he's gonna go ham.
That's 7 gateways on the way, Nathanius.
This is a very large number of gateways to have to Muslim.
No forges.
And no gas on the 3rd.
Okay. I'm going crazy. I'm Lilbow.
He's a madman.
Yeah, I haven't actually
seen
this kind of
science
thing
gone
before.
too far to Muslim?
You know, without upgrades, when you're on 15 gateways, I think that's nuts.
This is like maybe if you threw it in a Templar Archives. Okay, there it is. Because at this point,
now get your 4th or 5th and 6th gas.
Now take the rest of the gas. I agree.
Like, that's it.
There's no way you can afford to produce. What is this, like 13 gates now total? I don't know. My ability to do math.
And he's like completely stopped probe production. So he obviously has 16 probes on that 3rd, because you wouldn't stop before you had that. So low 15, pretty close. Still no forges, still nothing else. It's just going to be, and like Happy's climbing ahead and supplying. This is a 1-1 army. So is he banking on the idea that? I mean, the fact that he played cute with that little surround kind of worked against him, because damn, like that's 5 zealots that just died.
Yeah.
So like,
he's pulling the army back. This is really important though, because Happy has started to just take a little bit of a supply lead, and he should lose this drop, but what he gets from it in terms of buying himself time, I think, is always nice, because he's really trying to power out these big support units. But the supply is still very close. However, oh man, he has the proxy pylon up now too, so we're gonna see forward warp ins of zealots and archons. And he's like, okay, turrets and bunkers. I'm really worried now.
Yeah, I mean, this style by Lilbow, guys, like, this just isn't normal. Like, can he actually afford to produce from all those warp gates that he has? I think the answer's no, and as we see that they are all kind of ready to produce units, but we'll see what he actually makes from them, because that's only a good portion of his gateways. But here, Happy's ready.
Are all dancing. Okay, so now the Phoenix move in, and he's one-shotting the Colossi, getting close. Okay, now they're not exactly target firing, but with the gateway units being cleaned up, time warps being thrown down, and he's actually managed to kill off all the Colossi. So at this point, it's all about defending, and these missile turrets have really done a number on the Phoenix as well.
Yeah, like this fight is incredibly close. Happy's actually down in supply at this point in time, but remember,
yeah, he's losing workers at his 3rd base too.
Yeah, so Lilbow's making this work. He's denying mining at 3rd base. 17 workers have been killed. Jeez.
Yeah, and all those gateways, man, as soon as he gets money, he can immediately spend it, because he just has a ridiculous amount of production.
What a weird style by Lilbow. Like, are all these gateways being used right now? Like, he has money to spend still? Like,
yeah, he's actually using all of them.
And SCVs have been pulled from the main base. So 140 supply, it's 110.
Yeah,
like,
and
it's getting really close between these guys.
Yeah, this is tough, especially that Archon has actually regenerated quite a bit of its shields.
And I mean, if Happy moves out too far, he's going to get flanked here, but the army is falling on the right side.
Archon sandwich on this Bio army. Good target fire on the Archons, but that allows the Zealots to actually hit the army.
Oh,
and that third command center.
The third. It can get shot by all those Phoenix still, and he's kind of ignoring it right now. I'm a little bit surprised there. Maybe he feels that Happy's a bit weaker than he is, and in fact, he's very weak at this point, so it's a correct assumption to make.
The thing is, like, he needs to get the big surrounds and have the Archons fire when the Zealots are hitting that army.
Those
really
Zealots
great.
Moving up to the natural, that is great movement here by Lilbow.
This is it. This is Happy collapsing in this this third game. Like, I'm really not seeing too many ways for him to pull this off. The only advantage he had were his upgrades, but as long as this massive number of Zealots from that huge 3-base economy continue to pile in, he's screwed. There's nothing else he can really do here.
You know, this reminds me of another French Protoss called Adel Scott. Like, he would just...
He's build 100 Zealots?
He'd just, with gateways, but he'd go from, like, he'd rely on upgrades too, whereas Lilbow, he's just kind of said, nah, I'm just going to go, I'm not like... I really don't know how to, like, talk about this style, because in reality, like, it shouldn't make that much sense, and GG is cold.
If Happy holds on to his third base, like if he staves off just that first push once all the Colossi are dead, if he buys himself like 15 more seconds, I think like that can be enough. But that pylon was also really close for him to be able to get the warp in reinforcements. Like
really cool play by Lilbow, and Happy, like, we have to talk about how that game started off too. Like, Happy saw what was coming. He saw that it was a Oracle opening without a Nexus. Still took damage from it, and Lilbow even went for a second Oracle, which kind of like, I thought he was digging himself a hole there.
Both Oracles were very effective when they played in California. Like, he managed to make a lot of Zealots work. Like, he did the Stargate opening with the Phoenix type stuff, but he also got like really quick Forge and like churned out that quick +2 armor.
I just feel that, like, say if he invests in a Forge at some point before all those 15 gates and just gets a armor upgrade, and he has the Twilight Council ready because he got the Templar.
It's hundreds of extra hit points on his Zealots.
Yeah, and he can also get the +2 pretty quickly too. So I feel like that would be definitely like, there's no way you can argue that it would be bad. I mean, a single Forge getting an armor upgrade, like, great. Like, your army is automatically taking 1 less damage from everything, and if you have like a Guardian Shield going down, and you know, like 15 gateways, like, just take that into account. That's 15 gateways, Nathaniel. It's like, on 3 bases you can usually...
It's an absurd amount of production.
Absurd. So, like, realistically, could you sacrifice a little bit? I think you could. But Lilbow definitely wins that game in style.
Yeah, that's one of those styles though that's like really frustrating to play against. Like, when you lose to it, you're like, man, he killed me with just Zealots. But like, it was when he hit that tipping point of being able to get the Archons in, because with the 1/1 upgrade lead, like, you're not gonna just lose if you get into a choke point. But the Archons really seal the deal, because it makes it so difficult to just kite against that army, especially when they can hit your medevacs too. Deadwing for TVP. Pretty interesting map. This was one of the lesser played ones in the 3rd WCS season this year, so not the craziest amount of games to pull from when you look at matches that have been played on this map, but you know, you have that very easy to take 3rd base setup, and even easier than usual at least 4th base setup. Happy's still going to open up with Reaper. You kind of were onto something with the last game. It's like Happy doesn't seem interested in doing Intip and Nexus, or excuse me, Command Center first play whatsoever.
No, he doesn't, which is a little unusual, given that I do think of him as one of the best, like, standard players that there are in, like, the foreign Terran scene, at least. So I'm a bit... I'd love to, like, ask him, like, what his thoughts are on it, because he's obviously played against something that, you know, it's kind of turned it off him, or put him off it for life. So here, he won't get the direct scout off, so this is one of the first games that Lilbow will actually get a Nexus up at a normal time, and that would make him happy, I'm pretty damn sure.
He gets to play like a totally normal, regular PVT opening. And because he didn't cut any corners, right, he has the Mothership Core still coming out at a good time, which will give him a reasonable defense against the Reaper. And this probe is actually going to run into the Reaper. A bit unfortunate to lose that scout. However, you see the Reaper, and you kind of already know what the Terran player is doing. The only thing you haven't really confirmed is whether or not it's a factory follow-up, which we haven't seen yet from Happy. So Lilbow doesn't really have too much to be concerned about at this point in time.
Certainly not. Like, as far as Lilbow is concerned, like, this is the game where it's like, okay, like,
He
my
attacked
ladder
his own-
practice, he did attack it one time.
Data assimilate.
But this is the first game that he's taken no damage. He hasn't been delayed at all. He hasn't been, like, nothing's been scouted that shouldn't be scouted. This is the first game for him that's just like, okay, this is a cool situation for me to be in. Like, I don't have to worry at all. Like, this goes as a normal ladder game does in the day of Lilbow.
Yeah, and he's going to fire up a Twilight Council, as I'd say some pronouncers do quite often on the ladder. This is going to set himself up for, you know, we talked about this earlier, right? The potential to either go for the super mega crazy all in off, you know, something to nuts like 5 to 7 gateways, or you can just play passively with 3 or so gates, switch into the Robo, maybe go into double forge, or try to take a third. Like, you have options because this map is so big. The only thing that can get a bit tricky, which is one of the reasons why I like Blink, is dealing with drop play. So no matter what he does, he's going to be set up very nicely to defend going into the mid game.
Certainly. Blink here. Blink is cool. I always like Blink builds Nathanias because the Terran has to deal with every kind of Blink opening in a different way. Like, let's say it's 3 Blink Stalkers. That can still do a lot of damage. Oh, actually uses a potion overcharge.
Wow, he really, really wanted to kill that Reaper.
And he didn't want to lose the probe either.
You were going to kill that probe. That probe is my brother.
Kinda.
He like really cared about that probe, man. Not every worker gets that kind of treatment.
And yeah, like, we have to think about this, like, from Happy's point of view too. So, whoa.
Boy.
I was actually going to say, like, from Happy's point of view, right?
Like,
So
you can't be entirely sure, but now it's like he's going up to 6 gateways.
I actually thought that Lilbow was going to play normal style and go for an expand, because, you know, he kind of gave away the fact that he didn't want that Reaper alive and to scout more. So, like, if you were in Happy shoes, you could be like, whoa, he's gonna hide something here. He's gonna make a lot of gateways. And I thought Lilbow was just gonna play standard and just get an early 3rd Nexus, just kind of like keeping his opponent guessing. But here, I feel he kind of gave away his hand there a little bit if Happy's really, really deeply thinking into this.
Yeah, this gets weird though really fast. So he sees the stalkers. Not sure if he caught a glimpse of that probe, but you know, this pylon coming up, this makes things tricky. He's got a missile turret up the front, which shows that he's not 100% certain what he's dealing with. And Blink is done. The warp gates are all finishing up. He has no gas on his natural. He's just going for pure warp-ins. He wants to just batter down the front door. And I'm a little bit concerned for Happy. Like, Lilbow, like, I guess it comes down to his control, the most he can make of it. But Happy doesn't have a crazy number of Marauders just yet. And I don't think there's a bunker at all on this high ground.
There is no bunker on the
Thankfully,
high
his
ground.
stim shouldn't get sniped because it is about to finish.
So he is kind of scouting out with this. Oh, that's a big. Oh, this is a really nice time warp there. So that is buying him some time, picking off some units left.
And the thing is,
A
he
stim.
forces the stim, and now you get army collapses on you. Just blink out.
Didn't
He's
lose
like,
a unit. Back
dude,
to
he,
those
he
rocks.
did free AoE damage to the whole army with that, just based on his control.
20%
Really nice.
of the health gone straight away, and like there's still no bunker on that high ground. And I mean, the time warp was really key there because the army couldn't wrap around all these stalkers. But every engagement that happens like that is so much better for Lilbow because he's losing absolutely nothing in these engagements. And you know, he's going to pick off a few units on the low ground there. And this army is positioned nicely, and he's going to get ready to stim again soon. But again, 20% of damage done. Focusing those Marauders down, that is huge.
Yeah, really smart. The Marauders, of course, deal the most damage to these armored forces, and another one will pop out. He does actually kill off quite a few of these Stalkers, though, and a few of them, oh, one of them at least, was not able to escape with that first Blink wave. I think, like, this is slowly starting to reach that point where Happy just needs one more trade like that, and he can pretty much lock this down since he does have Medivacs finally coming out. And this is where I think Lilbow's like, oh, I guess it's do or die time. And with these Zealot Warp-ins, I guess he's saying it's time to die.
Equally, though, if he's out of position and he just loses that front bunker straight away, which will certainly happen here, it is getting salvaged, so Happy knew what was kind of happening. Can't lose that Mothership core, though.
Yeah, he does need that. Another time warp will be crucial for him to actually make this push work. And now when you fight at the pylon, this can get really dicey. He's going to clean up the Zealots, but still, another warp-in makes things really tricky, and the Blink cooldown's running out. Like, I think this is a bit overzealous if Happy retreats all the way to his bunker. He realizes, okay, I need to get the hell out of here. But, yeah, you really don't want to lose that command center. He just needs to give these Medivacs some time to do their healing magic.
And Lilbow's just trying to pick off what he can with like being out of range of this bunker.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's got Blink available, so he can constantly blink his units away that get damaged. But right now, Lilbow, he's just constantly producing 6 units every wave. So
now Lilbow has a substantially better economy than Happy, and this is this is what happens. Like, he overextended himself just a little bit. All these Zealots are going to run in. They're going to suck up the first couple of waves. All these Stalkers target down the bunker.
Oh,
he does get the bunker. Very nice. Now, he did just use up his blink, so 2 more Zealots get warped in. And this is just tricky because the Stalkers are what you really need to be killing here. Like, the more of these Zealots that you're firing at is just playing into what makes the blink build so damn good.
These Marines so low health, though. I feel that Lilbow's got this now.
Yeah, man. This is over. He's crushed through. Happy. I feel like just that last fight when right before he, I guess, he lost his natural, he just ran out a little bit too far. That pylon was really close. GG.
Wow.
Lilbow ties things up after an 0-2 start. Not bad at all.
Like a shaky 0-2 start there. And now, like, these last 2 games, like, we saw Lilbow kind of play a bit weird on Nimbus to get the win. Like, you know, the Phoenix style into, like, 15 gateway, no upgrades. I repeat, 15 gateways, no upgrades. But, like, now, this is kind of what Lilbow does. Like, he's a shark. He really is. As soon as he kind of feels that he can get away with this kind of Blink Stalker all in, he's one of the best at it. And, like, in a few of those engagements, him blink onto the high ground is, like, or it'd be on the left side of the map here. So it's, like, right next to the base. We also see it, like, behind the natural near the 4th, in that spot right here. So, like, there's quite a few positions where you can proxy an Oracle, but, you know, after winning a game like that from Lilbow, and winning the other one, like, momentum's definitely on his side right now, and from seeing a very lopsided series in which Happy was doing everything right, we're now seeing Lilbow kind of, like, wake up all of a sudden from whatever, like, coma he was in, and mistakes just aren't being made by him anymore, and he's executing his strategies perfectly. Like, that game, I did feel that the Photon Overcharge against the Reaper was a big tell.
Yes.
But, like, again, as Happy, you could be like, oh, well, you know, just didn't want me to kill probes. But
or maybe Happy's thinking, like, oh, he's a bit nervous or something like that. So I can see where that comes into play on both sides. But now Happy's going to open up with that barracks once again. And it looks like probably, I guess, like, at this point, I kind of expect him to take the gas. Like, Happy's just been going Reaper. He's not being the greedy Happy that a lot of people know and love.
Like, yeah, the fact that he used to open up 12 racks and, like, just a kind of clean expand from there without a gas was weird from a player that does excel so much from micro. And, like, if Happy sees something, like, let's say he scouts something, which a Reaper can allow you, if he reacts appropriately, which he has enough practice to, the Reaper makes sense because it is a unit that's kind of like, okay, you scout, you prepare, and if you micro it well, you can get a few kills here and there. So it's a unit that just seems made for a player like Happy. Here, Lilbow going for a very regular opening too. So, you know, we're going to see 2 very normal builds clash once again. So I really like it when this happens, especially, like, they're both respecting each other a lot. We even saw Happy kind of scout around there for a proxy gateway with his SCV. So, you know, he's not taking anything lightly.
Yeah, I like the way you put that, like, really showing a lot of respect. This has been a pretty nice series to watch so far. Like, Happy really showing the dominance in the first 2 games, and then Lilbow just stepping it up and doing some pretty crazy stuff, to say the least, right? Like, you can't say that he won the typical standard TVP late game where the Protoss gets the 6 storms and the Colossi are spread out and the Stalkers target fire down the Vikings. Like, no, man, he killed him with 100 Zealots off 15 gateways without upgrades, and then blinked him. But
he did just blink him. Yeah, and yeah, that blink build is so strong, especially when you're a guy that can micro as good as Lilbow, because we just saw, like, what he was capable of. He denied scouting, and then it wasn't as if anything went incredibly well for Lilbow. Like, there was no out of the ordinary situation. It was just like, bam, he just attacked and he made it work. So that's the kind of player that's scary, because say if Happy went into the game and he's like, oh yeah, I made this mistake, like, yeah, that's cool, like, I won't do that again, and if you blink Stalker all into me, then whatever, I'll hold it off. But no, Happy didn't really make any huge, overwhelming mistake there. So going into the series, it's kind of weird, and what is Happy doing here?
Stargate once again.
Dude, he doesn't have a command center on the way.
Yeah, Happy's just going straight up to factory. This is weird.
This has already turned into a very weird game. Like, initially it looked very normal from both of them, but Happy's kind of scouting around here for proxy.
It's like Happy's build isn't, like, it's not necessarily weird, but you normally get a command center with this after that Reaper.
Yeah, you do. And now we have a Mothership Core.
And this is tricky because you need 3 Marines to kill the Mothership Core. So with the Stalker here to help target fire down the Marines, like once the anti-air is gone, the Mothership Core is just going to kill everything that comes out of the barracks.
And I mean, like, Happy's dealing with this well. He's saved himself enough time to get that bunker up, which is now
bunker, yeah, that's the big key there. Keep in mind, he still has that Reaper in the main base, kind of dodging around, and he saw the Stargate, right?
Like,
right.
No, I don't think he has seen the Stargate.
This is really important. Okay, so he hasn't seen it. Wow. So like a Widow Mine is not bad, but if he leaves his base or puts the Widow Mine up front, I guess that can exacerbate things a little bit.
Like, where's he going to put this Widow Mine? That, like,
very important. It
looks like he's waiting to get the medevac out to really utilize it. And Happy's build's so funny because he's not got a second CC. His opponent's now making his Nexus, so Happy's kind of like, man, what's going on here? But will he get to scout the Oracle? He will get to scout the Stargate with this move, so that's nice for Happy.
Now he knows. Well, oh boy.
And he's not leaving this at home.
The Oracle's going to fly right by this medevac.
Oh, and
he needs all those units at home.
Yeah, this is Lilbow going to be
He's like, oh, 3 Marines? Thank you. I was hungry.
That was, yeah, that was nice. Thanks, man. Like, runs into this mineral line. All he has to be careful of is that he doesn't see any little shadow. And
yeah. Well, we know that there's not a Widow Mine here. As a Protoss, you can be a little bit concerned. But, yeah, there isn't anything here at all. He's just and I like that. His Oracle's probably like hold position. He's like, I really don't want to fly into a Widow Mine.
No, and like that's safe play by Lilbow. He's going to pick off quite a few of these. And I mean,
man.
Happy doesn't realize how kind of, and that was nice by Happy to kind of like pretend that he did. Like he didn't just run the SCVs away from the middle line, tried to stack them on that left side. So he was kind of trying to pretend that he had something. But now, like this drop, like he's lost a lot of workers here, and he's the one that doesn't. Oh, he actually did force a revelation out there.
And you know, Phoenix are coming out now too, so he's basically going to say, "Hey, unload your Marines right under my Oracle while the Phoenix comes up here," and that's exactly what he does. So he'll kill everything in this drop pretty nicely. Even kills the Widow Mine.
Oh, ran out of energy though on that Oracle, so the Oracle does die.
We're out of fuel.
But I mean, now the threat of that Widow Mine is over.
The other Oracle is here too, so the Phoenix is going to come up and he's like, "Yep, you are going to die."
That's kind of cool.
You booked a one-way flight this time, buddy.
Gee. 60 supply for Lilbow against 37 of Happy. He's the one with a natural too. Happy making tanks at this point in time.
You what?
Like, you know, Lilbow. He did something crazy at 5 gateways on the way.
Oh boy. Oh my goodness.
Lilbow's crazy. Lilbow's crazy.
This is, you know, like this here, like he had a really phenomenal start to this game. And right now, Lilbow's like, he was looking around. He's looking around his tool shed. He's like, okay, I found a nice hammer. And he's just raising it up now. He's getting ready to smack down. And with the Void Ray, like, and the Phoenix, killing that, like, tanks aren't going to do anything. You lift the Phoenix, you lift the tank up with the Phoenix. The Void Ray can kill it if it wants. And then everything else off 6-gate production is going to absolutely slaughter Happy.
I mean, what can Happy do at this point in time? Like,
I feel like not a lot.
Not a lot. Like, look at all these minerals available. Look at this bank for Lilbow. Like, he's got a lot of money to spend.
These gates are going to finish. The pylon's finishing up, and he's moving more units out of his base to attack with.
I mean, it's all well and good having siege tanks at the top of a ramp, but when you're against Phoenix and Void Ray, and you're going to be outnumbered by like 2 to 1, 3 to 1 even.
Right, you just lift up the 2 tanks, and everything else just waltzes in. I don't even know if he needs to do that with the Zealots up front, but you know.
I mean, the Widow Mine's cool.
The Widow Mine's like the nicest part of this, because he can try to push that Oracle away. That might... No, is that really enough to deter him? I don't think so.
No, I think the fact that he sees this extra...
I mean, he could actually bait the shot with one of his Phoenix if he was feeling really daring.
He's trying to just pull that army out. He's trying to, like, threaten the fact that...
Come here. Come take your natural.
Get out of that base, man. And I mean...
Happy's getting a little bit more time than I thought he was going to. And there's actually a supply block. Lilbow starting up 2 pylons. Does not actually have anything at home to deal with this drop. And this has gotten awkward very quickly. All of these... he's losing...
Whoa. This
probes are just dying. What? Recall.
What? Thaddeus, where are the Phoenix actually?
I really thought Lilbow was about to win this game, but Happy just got the break of his life right there.
You know, when you talk about like MVPs, this is one of them.
Yeah, that drop was the real MVP.
It was. Is this Oracle going to die too?
It's like he's locked on. Get out of there.
Such a weird series of events.
Yeah, this game is just foobar right now.
Like he's revealed that he went Void Ray as well. So now these tanks.
Now he has enough tanks to actually be useful against an unupgraded Protoss ground army too. I mean, he could try to hit from the other. Look at where this army's moving around. I feel like I'm like watching like a game of Snake, and they're all just chasing the medevac.
And you know, they've missed it.
Secret agent.
And like these Phoenix that keep popping out, like they seem to be on the other side of the map to where ever that medevac is.
He does need to shuffle these tanks over a little bit. Like the bunkers are nice, and oh man, like if Happy defend, like it's so tricky because I feel like Happy maybe could, but the production is just sick, and he's continuing to kill probes. Like you hurt that economy, and it really diminishes the number of weapons they have available, but he's just gonna charge the ramp right now. SCV's being pulled, the Time Warp misses most of the Marines, so he gets it. Oh, I love this. A couple of Zealots from the other side are gonna draw all the tank fire. Now the Void Rays are dying, and as soon as the Zealots are gone, like Stalkers, they suck versus tanks, man.
They do suck versus tanks. This fight's getting ridiculously close. We look at the supply. It's incredibly close between these two. And
the bunker falls. The Zealots are picking off more of these units. Okay, he's killed all the tanks and still has some Stalkers.
Oh,
these Vikings are kiting up the ramp.
He's focusing those rocks even. So, like, Lilbow quite nervous here by the looks of it. That's a huge misclick.
Yeah, killing those rocks not going to help him. And, oh, my goodness gracious. I think he's...
Oh, the drop in his base, though.
Yeah, he's still going to hit. Oh, Marine. The kiss of death.
It was the kiss of death. But, I mean... Happy
I mean, he's got enough. He's got enough to move down this river, I feel like.
He certainly does, and now the
he's got stim too.
Like, oh, oh man, Lilbow, like these were some big mistakes by Lilbow.
Yeah, attacking those rocks. That is actually a game costing mistake.
Game costing. I mean, those rocks have quite a lot of health too. It's like what, 400 health and an armor, and the whole time that fight was going on, you had those zealots and those sentries kind of attacking it.
Basically, like I'm gonna kill a supply depot instead of your army. Except it didn't even supply block you.
It's like saying, I'm going to kill an empty bunker instead of your army. Like, I mean, yeah, you're totally right. What a turn of events, because I mean, this game was in the bag for Lilbow, but...
Yeah, even though Lilbow's up on supply, man, never underestimate the power of stimmed bio. Like, the damage output on this army is insane. Takes off a few zealots, like, okay, I'm going to run back. I'm better off defending here. There's no need for me to fight out there in the middle of nowhere. And that's like I really don't think this is breakable anymore for Lilbow. These Phoenix are going to move up, but there's so much healing power from these medevacs. The Vikings are going to help deter the Phoenix count, and then you can land them. This Widow Mine's about to chunk out these Zealots.
Boom.
Oh, okay, that works too.
Yeah, got a pretty nice shot up, and now, like, I mean, Lilbow's army is way smaller, but his probe count while all this has been going on, he's just been building probes. So, I mean, economically, if this game goes on, then sure thing, Lilbow, you've got a chance, but I don't think Happy's going to give him the time of day.
Nah, this whole army out here, and even bringing the Widow Mine too, so Warpins on top of this won't work. It does pick off quite a few of the air units, which is nice, but, oh well.
I mean, like, maybe this Warpin works.
Yeah, how far away does Happy have to leave?
Oh god, is he swinging?
Is this like the second time that Happy's like really chased too far out after trying to defend against the assault, and I
feel like
you need that command center. You really need that command center.
This just feels so reminiscent of watching Parding against Flash. Like these situations, like I always think like the Protoss is eventually going to lose. Oh, there's a drop though again.
Oh, no detection on the map. This is
game winning though, and even that Widow Mine feeling very brave, marching to the other mineral.
He's tied up the worker count and has that that second mule, but the only thing he doesn't have access to is his expansion. These probes are trying to like block. What? Oh, he was like trying to block the pathing so that he couldn't burrow.
Is that what he's doing?
That's pretty high level play right there. If it is.
Oh, he got it.
Nice.
I mean, that
was actually kind of cool.
That's a nice little win there, but there is this Widow Mine to worry about, and he has got 5 kills already. Happy actually targeted him on that probe there, so manual target fire, and Happy, like, this game's got crazy, Nathan. Absolutely crazy here.
Yeah, this...
Main is mined out for Happy, correct?
Yeah, he actually has no resources in this main. This is where playing Terran actually gives you this weird advantage in these scenarios, because if he does secure his natural, then he can push out and just float his main over to the third base.
Oh, and I mean, Happy's army's pretty darn good here, actually. Like, pulling the SCVs too, I kind of like the fact that he's doing that, because right now it feels
I like this. He's not even attacking, so it's messing with the Zealot AI. Very important, forcing Lilbow to target, and now he wins. GG, Happy, after a completely bonkers best of 5. Manages to move on. Now, Lilbow, I mean, great games by him. He's